So 7:06, I'm going to call the meeting to order. We have three of our four commissioners present, as well as Miss Anton. Thank you for joining us tonight, Diana. And Natalie Salee is here as well. Are there any citizen comments? Natalie.
I believe you have to make the vote to meet virtually.
Sure. Thank you. Anybody care to make a motion to hold the special meeting through Zoom?
In light of the governor's continuing proclamation of us being in an emergency due to COVID and the board and/or officers of the organization determining that it is not safe to meet in person, I move that we hold our meeting remotely.
Debbie, second?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Thank you. Any citizen comment? All right. So then I think the purpose of the special meeting is to do some brief follow-up interviews with the two candidates for the open board seat, Ms. Diana Anton and Mr. Mark Carlin. Looks like Mick is joining us. And then we're going to jump right into it. And try not to take too much of your time, Diana. So I'm going to go ahead and start. One of the reasons we asked you back is just that one is that you'd have the experience of sitting through a board meeting, and two, of being able to do some research into how the Ridgeville board is different than maybe other nonprofit boards you've been on in the past or have worked with. So the one question I have is, having attended a Ridgeville board meeting, Diana, how do you see the Ridgeville board role as different from other nonprofit boards you may have been a part of in the past?
First of all, I see it as very cooperative, very different from some of the other boards that I've been on. And I like the fact that the board is dealing with issues that affect me and everybody around me. And I like the Robert's Rules of Orders that you use. And I like that it's city government. So that's all very different. And it worked for me. I liked it.
And you'd be able to commit to making a board meeting once a month on the second Thursday?
Yes. What day is it?
The second Thursday
of every month. Sure.
It's at 7 p.m.
Okay, sure.
Commissioner Rogers, Commissioner Braun, do you have any follow-up questions?
Not really. I just wanted to hear if she had any questions for us. Having witnessed how we kind of work and everything like that and what we do, if there were any questions Ms. Anton had for us.
So it's once a month, but then I can volunteer for other projects that might come up. Is that, and what does that look like?
So generally, especially during the summer, there's is kind of our busiest time of year. Natalie is usually the point person and dealing with volunteerism. There's a number of events we'd definitely be happy to have you volunteering for. The concerts in the park, like the drive. Natalie, feel free to chime in. She's probably the most knowledgeable. And then also, if you have anything that you're particularly interested in, feel free to bring that to Natalie.
Diana, you can volunteer whenever you want. I got plenty for you to do.
I do want to make I'm sorry, can I speak?
Sure, go ahead.
I do want to make something clear. I think it's great that you want to volunteer, of course, but I want you to understand that the board position, like you won't be overseeing activities or festivals or stuff like that. That is not part, this board is purely oversight and budgeting.
Sounds good to me.
So I just want to make sure that you know what you're getting into, because it doesn't sound like it's what you had been doing or wanted to do, but
Right, right.
you can volunteer no matter what.
Yeah, I guess I'm in a volunteering phase of my life. If you vote at Shoot
Sure.
tomorrow, you'll see me tomorrow as an election judge. So, yeah. So, yeah, volunteering as much as I can. I have other things that I do too. But yeah, I like the idea of volunteering for Natalie.
That's great. And do you have any other questions for us about the board?
So this is a one-year position?
So this
Oh,
is
one-year.
filling a board seat, and under state law, it's going to run through the next municipal election, which is next April.
Okay,
And so probably the April board meeting would be your last. You would definitely be able to run for that board seat. There's actually going to be 3 board seats open. So if you're interested in continuing, you would need to file the proper paperwork to get on the ballot. But
well, that's a nice period of time to get a feeling for whether I want to do it or not.
it is. And we can talk more about
Yeah.
that process if you're interested down the line. Anything further from the commissioners or from you, Diana?
No, I just find the board very amiable, and it looks like you just all work together very well.
Thank you. We try. So
That was a selling point for me.
thank you. That's great. That's encouraging. All right. So I don't think we have anything more for you. I think you can feel free to go on about your evening.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah. Hey, Mick.
I just wanted to apologize for being late. My wife's been sick and I've got both kids because she can't really be around them yet. So that's why I was a little bit late. Apologize.
I got
All right.
COVID myself.
Oh, yuck. I'm sorry, bud.
It's all right. I'm pushing through. So thank you for joining us. It looks like we're cutting right to the chase, so we're going to be pretty quick. So Diana, feel free to take your leave, and we're going to interview Mr. Carlin. We're going to talk amongst ourselves, and then can I reach out to you later this week?
Sure, for sure.
That'd
Have a
be
good
great.
evening. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Debbie, when we do, Mark, can you just ask that same question that you asked of Diana?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ask the same question I asked, but I
Yeah.
just want to make sure they both have the same.
I still don't think she,
We'll talk about
yeah.
it. So now
I just text- I
Yeah.
texted Mark.
okay, great. We'll see.
I
if
told
he
him he could jump
can-
on. He's coming.
I'm sorry you have COVID, Matt.
Oh, yeah, it's Justine and I both got it right at the same time last week, and
What'd you do with the kids? Are they home wearing masks or?
yeah, we kind of been masking at home. One of the two has gotten it, but is asymptomatic. The other one is tested every day and still negative.
It's not convenient.
No, I was laid up.
Did you have a fever?
No, just kind of a light cold, but I was super tired, real
Tired.
fatigued, slept a lot, but I'm kind of getting out of it.
Do you take the medicine? Or
I
you're
do.
too young? They,
So it looks like Marcus joined us. We'll give him a minute to get the video and unmute. Mr. Carlin,
Yes, hello, good evening.
how are you? Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate your time. So I think this will be pretty quick. We just have a couple questions, follow-up questions. Thank you for taking the time to attend our last board meeting. I think that's real helpful in being able to visualize what the role entails. And so we're just gonna jump right into it, and then we'll have a little time if you have any questions for us after. So the first question is, having attended a Ridgeville board meeting, how do you see the Ridgeville board role as different from other nonprofit boards you may have been a part of in the past?
Not very. The responsibilities of the Ridgeville board are obviously different, but I've been on 2 condo boards, as I mentioned, a lot of nonprofit boards, anti-violence boards, and basically the role of the board in some of the boards, particularly the nonprofit boards I've been on, there's policy issues, but mostly there's a lot of nuts and bolts. I mean, that's what the board is responsible for. A lot of people want to be on boards for that reason, because they think it's somehow, a very powerful position, and there's lots of goodies. But my experience, as I said, I've been on about 13 or 14 boards, is that basically you've got the fiduciary responsibilities, and then you've got the planning responsibilities, and you have the carry out of the planning. So I don't think it's that different. It's the same thing. I mean, the board decides what the how to carry out the mission of the organization, and then how to implement that plan.
Great, thank you. Debbie, do you have any follow-up questions?
I don't know. I think I think that you have a clear understanding of what the board does.
Okay. And then Mr. Carlin, would you be able to commit to attending a one board meeting a month, the second Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. Until through April 2023?
Yes, except as I mentioned in the last meeting, the month of August, we're going to be in Portland, Oregon, visiting our grandchild.
Sure. I think we'd be able to work around that. Okay. And do you have any questions for us as a board?
How when the term expires and there's an election, what are the possibilities of running for the seat?
So there's actually going to be 3 open board seats of the 5 positions on the April 2023 ballot. So you're certainly encouraged to run. If you do come on the board as an appointee, it would be a good period to see if it's a good fit. And then to get on the ballot, you have to follow all the state laws of getting signatures and submitting the right paperwork. And we can talk more about that. It kind of started in the late fall to get on the ballot.
And how many people are on paid staff?
We have 2 full-time, the executive director and the program director. And then we have 2 full-time maintenance. And those are the 4 full-time positions.
And the executive director, if I recall, is retiring from the last meeting. Is that right?
That's true. And that's going to be one of the most important jobs of this next board, is finding our next executive director.
Was he full-time?
Yes, for sure.
Oh, okay. So that position carries a lot of responsibility and implementation and oversight and so forth.
It does, especially if you look at the org chart. The executive director answers to the board. Everybody else answers to the executive director. So it's a position of great responsibility in the Park District.
Huh. Okay. Well, you should also know I'm a local boy in addition to living in Evanston since 2011. I grew up in Lincolnwood, went to Niles West. I went to Yale as an undergrad and the University of Illinois. I got a master's degree in English at both universities. And anyway, I'm committed to the neighborhood. As I mentioned, my wife is on the Evanston Library Board, and we feel that in our semi-retirement that we want to give back to the community.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time. I don't have anything else. Any other board members?
No, thank you.
Okay. So
Thank you.
We're going to meet. Mr. Collin, can I reach out to you later this week?
Sure.
Great. I'll give you an update over the next couple of days.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good
Okay.
evening.
Thank you. You as well.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Do we want to adjourn to executive session?
I'm going to leave this meeting running and then we can jump into exec.
Right.
Or I could close it.
I don't think we
I
have to
could-
come back to this meeting, do we? Since our motion
Yeah.
will be,
We have to adjourn it, right?
since
We
our
have to
motion will
adjourn.
be to decide who we're going to do, but we aren't coming back to vote on that in open session tonight, are we?
No. Could we adjourn the session and then go to
So
executive session?
what we do is we would just recess into executive session, but then we would not return. We would do our adjournment from executive session.
I'm fine with that.
So with that is, I move that the board recess into executive session to discuss the two candidates and their qualifications for filling the vacancy on the board.
Mitchell seconds. All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye. And we're not going to come back to this meeting.
Aye.
All right.
Okay.